Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business. And so I want to welcome you all on in. Thank you for joining, and we're going to play a little music while we're waiting for everyone to come in. Good morning, Assalamu alaikum, Brother Lamont, Miss Tiffany E. Good morning, good morning. So I have this song. It's a new song from the Isley brothers that my mom gave to me. So I'm going to dedicate this song to my mom. It's called Friends and Family. Assalamu alaikum, poem praise too.
Break out the food and the drinks. It's gonna be a party. Turn up the music.
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Ida.
Go right ahead and smoke and play some cards. Just make your
Good morning, Brother Kevin.
It's okay to take somebody's hand and get your groove on. We're all up in here. Timing couldn't be better.
Y'all know how to step and get your two-step on to wake yourself up. It's your morning exercise, right? This song is called Friends and Family by the Isley brothers. Good morning, assalamu alaikum, Sister Alita. This song is by the Isley brothers. It's called Friends and Family. My mom sent it to me, so I'm dedicating that song to her. It sounds like an R. Kelly throwback, or probably from the vault, and they just don't want to tell us. Did y'all get y'all Elijah coins last week? They're still on sale. We still got some left. I'm telling you, you better get them. They're a collector's item. SajdahHouse.com. Alita says she loves that song. I never heard it. This was my first time when she sent it to me. It's called Friends and Family. Good morning, Daniel. Happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Morning salutations, Nubia Flow. Walaikum salam, Brother Daniel.
About to do the family and friends dance right now. Family and friends dance. Come on, y'all. Do your two-step. Now take it to the left, yeah, left, yeah, do your two-step.
We like to have good vibes in my space, in my environment, on my shows, with the team. The team will tell you we like good vibes. Not about that mug is fire. Listen, this mug comes from, I have two of them. It's from NOI Archives. Look at that. Check it out. I have another one. They're going to help us with some mugs for Sajdah House because their mugs are amazing. Look at that. So we'll buy these from NOI Archives because remember, we're creating this economy. And so getting these from NOI Archives helps support them, and then selling them at Sajdah House will help support Sajdah House. So this is one of the items, inshallah, that will be in the gift shop at Sajdah House, thanks to NOI Archives. Yeah. When I seen these, I said, oh, I need these in my life. So 2 years in a row at Savior's Day, I was able to get one. They have another one that I use also. We talking about friends and family, y'all. Let's stay together. Let's pray together. So thank you all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Man, this has been a busy week. We've been, I've been supporting the Grandmaster Brother Aziz, Assistant Supreme Captain, and his wife, Sister Aziza, for their wonderful conference that they have every year. And I've been helping Sister Lisa R. and Brother Clifton with the youth division by being a presenter, and it has been absolutely fabulous. It's nothing like interacting with our youth, youth that are eager and are hungry. A lot of times when people invite you to speak to youth, they're like disengaged. They don't want to be bothered. They're like, why are they bringing this person in here to talk to me? Good morning, Major Hustlers. But with them, they're so engaged and so grateful. And I've been blessed that those conscious youth have been my biggest followers and supporters. So I was really excited about that. I don't know if you all remember, and I don't know if I told y'all this. Wait, before I start talking, let's put the Sajdah House website in the chat. I'm going to pin it because I want you all to go out there and get your coin. You can get it with the discount code HEM4847, and you can get it for $375. And we are using that to raise money to control and monetize our culture through the renovation and restoration of the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad at 4847. So the discount code is HEM4847. Good morning, Lady Hurricane. But anyway, I don't know if I told y'all this, but going back before the pandemic, when they first told everybody, go home and quarantine, which, made sense if they thought that there was a true infectious disease threat. And it was nothing different than what we know we've been told by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But then something else happened that is very clear in the book, The Fall of America. They told everybody to go home and file for unemployment. I don't know if y'all remember this. So there were people on unemployment who still had jobs, who still had the opportunity to work, but they told everybody to go home and file for unemployment. Of course, now today they're claiming they have so many millions of fraud cases of unemployment and they're working overtime. But I knew that was some kind of underlay for the overplay, because unemployment numbers are one of the key economic indicators for how the entire economic system works. And if you've listened to one of my past Mind of an Entrepreneur shows, you may recall that I broke down economy and the economy and what it means and how it is presented to us as a science. Just like biology is to medicine, they say economics is to business. And it's kind of this, I think it's a false science that they've created. Well, what I see happening now is something that we should also pay close attention to. I don't know how many of you have taken Economics 101, but I want to go over today. It'll be a little bit of a different talk because I want to go over today top economic indicators and how they are used. And this is so that you can begin paying attention to the signs that you see out there in the economy. We talk a lot about doing for self and entrepreneurship as if it's a choice. But for many of us, we are unemployed and we become entrepreneurs under what I call duress, in that we're forced because we either lose our job and get laid off or there's no jobs available. Now companies cannot even find enough employees to work. Why? Because they told everybody initially to stay home. You have the government who continues to print up money and make money, and they're raising taxes on business owners like us. Capital gains tax, 40%. corporate taxes up to almost that high, but they're constantly issuing checks to people saying, and they said, they trained everybody and they said, stay home. Now they're printing money and there's all this free money out here. Well, the economy cannot support all this free money that they're printing up. And something's going to crash, something's going to happen, and it probably already has. To the point now where businesses cannot stay open because they can't get employees to work. People are opting to stay home to collect these checks as opposed to going to work. What is happening and what does that do to us? I actually also said on another Mind of an Entrepreneur show now about 10 years ago that we have this huge gap between the haves and the have-nots. Huge gap. There's a permanent underclass that is being created, and that really has already been created between the haves and the have-nots. Most of our people are in that have-not permanent underclass where we're unemployable, we don't have jobs, we're relying on government stimulus, and when we get our government stimulus, we're in line at Foot Locker, Louis Vuitton, Gucci. We're making Amazon rich with our stimulus money. But we don't understand what's happening. Once they've told us now, don't go to work, and we stopped going to work. Start giving us free money. So a lot of people said, I don't have to go to work. I'm not going to work. I'm getting free money. I'm getting free daycare. I'm getting all this free stuff. There's a mortgage moratorium and a rent moratorium. Once they pull the rug out from under that and the moratoriums end and foreclosures start to go through the roof and you're renting a place that you're living in, you don't have money for rent because you've been relying on rent subsidies, rent stimulus. Your landlord has been relying on the moratorium, the mortgage moratorium. Then all of a sudden the rug is pulled out from up under you. Now you are a true member of the permanent underclass, to be left to be controlled, okay, by an enemy who wants to make sure that you remain a permanent underclass. See, we've been talking on the Mind of an Entrepreneur show for months now about predatory capitalism. Again, go back and listen to past episodes. We've defined predatory capitalism. We've talked about the economic indicators of predatory capitalism, one of which is that you must have an underclass. You must have a dominant person and you must have a dominant underclass, somebody who is being dominated. And so to keep that playing field from evening, now you see all of this stuff happening. When you have this type of gap between the haves and the have-nots, and the have-nots are almost in a permanent underclass because they've literally been trained to stay home, rely on government stimulus, and so mentally that's where they are. The haves will get very, 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 very wealthy because it's a system that relies on that gap. And if you recall, we've been talking about how to adjust the economic indicators of our separate territories, because we've been instructed to separate and build our own communities and our own territory. But we have to change the economic structure of those territories so that we don't bring that same predatory capitalism over, over to our separate territories. So I want to talk really quickly today about top economic indicators. There are several economic indicators that are really important for you to watch and pay attention to. This is why it's important, and however you want to define it, get your business going. I don't care if you have a job. I don't care if you don't think that you would be good in business. Get over to Brother Ben's network, the BWO group, learn how to drop ship. Do something, but create alternative and additional flows of income that do not rely on this system that has been seeded now to fail. See, when they told everybody to go home and file for unemployment, that was the first sign that they were kicking in this more permanent underclass. And so we have to be aware. And then there started this fear-based news delivery of the news. We talked about again on the Mind of an Entrepreneur show how the news now is so manipulated that you can't tell the difference between news and marketing, because everybody has a PR spin. Everybody has a reason for why they're saying what they're saying and how they're saying what they're saying. So you can't tell the difference anymore. And so our mindsets are being controlled. They're spending more money now. When I say they, I mean those that know and those in business are spending more money now working to control your minds than ever before. Because if you can read the handwriting on the wall, you see the development of the permanent underclass coming. And you know that if you can control the minds of those in that permanent underclass, you will be wealthy. Not to mention, then in this permanent underclass, they're being fed savagery. So there's excessive drugs, excessive sex, people using their stimulus money to go buy drugs and just staying home. The health, our health is declining because we're not mobile. We're not moving around. We're sitting at home eating junk food. It's the perfect storm for creating that permanent underclass. And then the government says, okay, we're going to keep printing up money, giving it to this permanent underclass that we're developing. And then that permanent underclass is going to turn right back around and give it to those that are at the top of the chain of the predatory capitalist system. Do y'all see what's happening? And then once the government decides to stop printing up money, now you're at their mercy because you haven't done anything. And what I am saying is right now more than ever, listen to and pay attention to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Get your life together. Get your health together. Start eating one meal a day. Start trying to eat organic. Plant you a little garden in the back of your home. Okay? Get your mindset together. Stop gossiping, slack talk, slander. Control your urges. So these urges out here where they put on the BET Awards with all this excessive sex and craving for money and all kind of things that are controlling you, get yourself together and listen to his instructions where he said, get up and do something for yourself. What does that mean? You better be working on 2 or 3 streams of income, because the company that you could be working for or you could be contracted with, they're based upon some of these economic indicators I'm about to give you here today. And so they already got a plan. They know what they're going to do when you become a permanent member of the underclass. And you could say, well, it's just going to be economic. No, it's not. Because all those factors that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked to us about and showed us how to improve, this whole self-improvement process is what's going to be used to make you a permanent member of the underclass. Your health is failing, so you'll be trekking up to the doctor. It might not even be, what is happening might not be bad enough to kill you, just enough to make you suffer, just enough to make it so that cognitively you can be controlled. Why? Because now all these other factors are working against you, which means what? You're trekking up to the doctor because you don't feel good. They're giving you pills. Not only that you have to pay for, but that your public aid is paying for. Your public aid is only going to pay for so much medicine. And they're only going to pay for certain types of medication. If you need some type of intervention, a surgery or whatever, they're only going to pay for a certain type of surgery. So you're going to always be stuck suffering unless you change the behaviors that put you in that condition in the first place. Then there's drugs. You got drug dealers now who deliver. People, because of the pandemic, may not be out in the streets, so they're delivering. And so we at home, getting high, smoking excessive amounts of marijuana. I know here in Chicago, when all the other businesses closed, liquor stores, construction, and marijuana dispensaries got to stay open. Why? Even when grocery stores had limited hours. So now, here we go. You're high, you're inebriated. Then they said they're feeding you with all this excessive amounts of sex. You're constantly on the internet, on the news, subliminal. Now sex is controlling you. You can't even think straight. And it's just in your face. So all of your faculties are being controlled and they're off base. You can't think straight. You're feeding a news channel and watching news that's lying to you all the time. So the pattern of lying, the pattern of untruth becomes more familiar to you than the pattern of truth. So now somebody with truth comes to you and you can't recognize that vibrationally because you recognize untruth vibrationally. You connect to untruth vibrationally. So now you can be manipulated. Now you can be told anything and told to go do anything, go buy anything, and you're like a zombie. Learn how to take back your mind. Recontrol your mind. I put on my Facebook page some throwback shows from the Mind of an Entrepreneur show on how to take control of your mind, the power of thought and electricity and the energy. Start to read and study truth. Okay? I don't have my picture of the minister. It's actually over there because I like to have him smiling at me as I'm teaching. But study truth. You can go out on YouTube. There's a lot of videos out there of the minister if you can't afford to buy some. Some people post things. But make sure that you go and study truth. Recalibrate your central nervous system so that it is aligned, okay, with truth. So that you know truth when you hear it. Because people are spending millions, probably billions of dollars to control our minds. And the first indicator that they was getting ready to get busy with this to me was the pandemic, when they told everybody to go home. And number two, when they told everybody to file for unemployment, because then they started to skew and seed the economy. And so during that time where everybody was racing to file unemployment and those unemployment numbers were skyrocketing, there are people who understood what that meant to the stock market, and they made billions of dollars off of that escalation of the unemployment numbers. And so now there are other people who are reading these economic indicators and they understand where the economy is going. And so they're working to make sure that they control you. Because the more people, listen, this is modern day slavery. You see, back then it was, how many slaves can you buy, can you purchase to do the work for you? Because we were in a production economy. So you bought slaves to till your land, to take care of your home, to provide services so that you could then use that free labor to go get paid for. To get paid out into the economy. So it was a production-based economy. So the more slaves you had, the more money you could make, right? You took care of them. It was minimal amount of expenses to take care of them. And there was no labor you had to pay to them. And you were able to have big, huge margins for whatever product or service that you were putting out there into the economy. Now, they're saying the more it is, the more people whose minds they can control. So if you have a product, if you're selling something, okay, if you're selling Doritos, the more people who you get to hook into the concept of buying and eating Doritos, for example. And I'm not busting on the Frito-Lay company. I'm just using this as an example. That's why they're spending millions of dollars on commercials, because you start to buy into, not only because you might like the taste of the Doritos, but also because you like the commercial. You like the vibe of the commercial. So the more people, and they can do it in larger numbers now, because the more people that are hooked into that product or service means the more money that they can make off of it. And they said, okay, you ain't got no money. We're going to give you a stimulus check, because we know we've already reprogrammed your mind, or programmed your mind, so that when you get that stimulus check, what are you going to do? You're going to make Samsung rich. You're going to make Gucci, Louis Vuitton. You've already been programmed. They've already told you, when you get your stimulus check, go buy this or that. And so they already know that. And so these lobbyists tell our government, give them stimulus checks, give them stimulus check. The government workers and the politicians are afraid of not getting voted in and not being liked, so they vote for the stimulus check, and the businessmen sit back and lick their chops. Anyway, here's our top economic indicators that I want to talk about. The first one is gross domestic product. I don't know how many of you all know what gross domestic product. It's what they call a lagging economic indicator, okay? It's one of the first indicators to help them to gauge the overall health of the economy. And they use it as a way to calculate how many goods and services are being produced and introduced into the market. I'm trying to put this in layman's terms. I have a old book that I had here, but I'm trying to put this in layman's terms. Let me just read the first couple paragraphs. Like I told you, it's a lagging indicator. It is one of the first indicators used to gauge the health of an economy. It represents economic production and growth, or the size of the economy. And measuring GDP can be complicated, but there are two basic ways that they do it. One, they use the income approach, and that's where, well, we'll just leave it at that. One, they use the income approach. The other one, they use a product production approach. Okay, but whenever you see them saying that there are issues with the GDP, you should also know that that means something to the economy. So I want you guys to go out there and study gross domestic product and understand what type of economic indicator it is. This is so that when you watch the news, you can pull out these little things and you don't have to listen to the PR spin that is designed to control your mind. So GDP, or gross domestic product, is one of the top economic indicators. Then you have the stock market, which is like a leading indicator. Okay, the stock market depends heavily upon a formulary based on income of companies. The unemployment rate is part of that indicator. Yeah, you can Google it. So when they started to impact the unemployment numbers, it impacted the stock market. Okay, and then when the stock market was impacted, then they knew how to invest. And it's like betting, gambling, right? They either knew that based on how they had seeded the market, that the stock market would go up, and so they would bet on the money going up. They would buy low and hold and go high. Or they knew that based on how they seeded the economy, that the stock market would go down. So they would buy high and ride it down based on certain ways that you can invest. And unemployment is what they call one of those lagging indicators, like gross domestic product. So in other words, The reason why they call it a lagging indicator is because something has to happen in order for them to be able to measure it. The stock market, they judge it right away, okay, which is a whole interesting circle of events. But the unemployment rate, they have to wait till people are unemployed and they can calculate the numbers. They get the numbers from the state. And remember, they told everybody, go home and file unemployment. So it makes sense that the numbers would be skewed, right? The numbers come from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. There's also another indicator that you'll hear them talking a lot, not that much about, but the Consumer Price Index. You hear a lot about the stock market. You hear a lot about unemployment, right? You hear a lot about GDP. Those three I want you to go look up so that you understand how they impact the economy, okay? This is the reason why you must get up and do for self. Go start your business. If you're working a job, and let me tell you something. Let me go through these first. Then there's the Consumer Price Index, right? It relies on inflation. Basically, it's a calculation of inflation of prices. Right now, inflation is through the roof. Why? Because they told everybody to go home. There was no production, so the gross domestic product was going down because there was no production. You have people with large pieces of equipment sitting at ports that they can't get into the U.S. So the price of lumber is inflated. The price of cars is inflated. Any asset that you have right now, if you're an asset heavy person, everything in your asset portfolio is inflated right now. Okay, this is how rich people are getting richer. So the amount of real estate they have. Why is real estate going up? Well, because the price of lumber and sheetrock and nails, everything is going through the roof. Building materials is escalated. So your assets that are real estate are expensive. So imagine a very wealthy person with a large real estate portfolio. During this whole have and have-nots creation that we're going through right now, their portfolios are huge. If you have vehicles, cost of vehicles has gone up. That's increasing. Anything that's an asset right now is going up. There's other things like the Producer Price Index that talks about it's based on certain sectors of the economy that are goods producing, like I just talked about, woods, metals, steel. You can forget trying to get some steel. We decided in Sajdah house that we were going to reinforce the house so that inshallah the house will last another 100 years. So we put up some steel beams to reinforce the wood beams that were already there. And thank God we did that before the steel prices went through the roof. There's housing starts, where they use that as an economic indicator. You hear that a lot on the news where they talk about housing starts. And they use that, I think the Census Bureau calculates that. The data is provided and it talks about how many new home purchases are out there. There's so much misinformation out here about real estate right now. Some people say it's a seller's market. Some say it's a buyer's market. Some say they're selling homes and they're getting 4 and 5 different offers on it. And I would say to you, it depends on the price of the home. That's another important thing for us to think about. Interest rates and the strength of the currency. We already know, if you've done any traveling internationally, that the US dollar does not have a lot of strength right now. There are some countries that I've traveled to over the last few years where they didn't want US dollars. They'd rather we use a credit card, American Express or something, so that it can be converted immediately into their currency, because they didn't want US dollars. Okay? There's manufacturing activity. We know manufacturing activity is down. Why? Because people aren't working. If you want a job right now, you can get a job. You have no reason to not make any money. People are working from home. There's so many jobs out here available because so many people are saying, I'm getting a stimulus check. If you own a business and you say, you know what, I just want to make a few extra dollars on the side, maybe to pay my cell phone bill, maybe to do certain things I need to do. I used to do that when I first started in business. I would take like a little small contract or a small job on the side, and I say, okay, this job is going to just pay all my utilities. Well, that's easy to do nowadays because nobody's working. My business partner in Maryland was telling me that he went to the dentist, and the dentist said, hey, I had to deduct you for your first 2 appointments because I didn't have the staff. Everybody's quitting because they know they can go home and just get a stimulus check. So I want you to think about what this is doing to us, and I want you to play chess and stop playing checkers. Because when you're playing checkers, you're just reacting on the first move that's there. I want you strategizing. And I want you to think a few chess moves ahead. And I want you to think about what's going to happen when the stimulus money stops. What's going to happen to our economy? What's going to happen to our safety? I had said at the beginning of the pandemic that that we were going to move into this permanent underclass setup, and that we would be very much like third world countries like Nigeria, where you have such a huge gap between the have and the have-nots, and not just Nigeria, but other sub-Saharan African countries where you have a robust economy and people who participate in this robust economy up here, and you have people down here who are poor and scratching for everything that they can to put in their mouth, and not even able to maintain a home over their head. So it's going to be a gap, and a lot of that gap has to do nowadays with mindset. I hope y'all understand this. Mindset is the difference now between the haves and the have-nots. Because if you have the right mindset, you can draw income to yourself. You can go out there and make additional income. You can figure out how to think outside the box and outside of the economic system, outside of some of these economic indicators that I'm talking to you about. One of the other economic indicators is income and wages. We already know income and wages is going down because people are not working and people aren't producing. So the wages are going down. The income is going down in totality, except that individually, people like pilots now are making $250 an hour. We want them to make a lot of money because we want to get where we're going safely. But the reason why the prices are going up is because a lot of people aren't working. So the prices are going up. It costs money now to get good labor because people don't want to work. We have nurses and licensed professionals who invested in their career who are opting to stay home to get a check. You have people who are not even U.S. citizens that are getting stimulus checks. No offense against them, but what does that mean? That means that they're not contributing to the tax rolls, but yet they're getting money from that is printed by the U.S. government. And when that money gets printed by the U.S. government, what happens? It causes inflation. So here's another thing, consumer spending. So they're trying to keep the cash flow going by saying, we're going to put some suggestions in their minds. We're going to cause the government and put pressure on the government to give them a stimulus check, because we already know that we've already programmed these people to go out and purchase certain things as soon as they get their stimulus check. I was downtown in Chicago a few weeks ago, and I saw that the line, walaikum salam, Sister Lisa. I saw that the line for Louis Vuitton was down the block. And I'm thinking to myself, what are they possibly selling in there that we need to wait a block? Now, I'm a girl who likes nice things. I got a closet full of beautiful purses and stuff like that. But would I wait in line down the block during the pandemic to spend my stimulus check at Louis Vuitton? Absolutely not. But would I take that stimulus check if I was in that position to be able to get a stimulus check to start a business? Maybe a drop shipping business. Maybe selling some good and services that I offer. But you better be taking that money and doing for self. You should not just have one stream of income right now. You should be hustling all over the place. Don't buy into this, oh, I got to get some rest. The other night I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning. Doing what? Working on alternative income streams. Preparing myself for the next day so that I could offer maximum impact to the people that I serve. Right now is not the time to go lay down and chill. You got to push yourself past your comfort zone. Push yourself past your intellectual capacity. Push yourself to the point where you can create something. Because guess what? A lot of people are not creating. They're at home chilling. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that because I don't know that a lot of people understand or see what is happening. I think what we're doing is we're just kind of blindly sailing along. But the bottom is going to fall out of this thing. It's already starting to fall. The government is putting sort of a false bottom underneath it, but there's bubbles that are going to burst. Probably towards the end of the year, whenever the moratorium on mortgages ends. You know what? Another thing that they're basing this that's causing this gap between the have and the have-nots is, I talked about immoral activities. But they're counting on us also to be dishonest. So many of us are being dishonest. So many of us are saying, I'm going to get 2 stimulus checks. I'm going to get an extra stimulus check. I'm going to get an extra unemployment check. And either you're going to become dependent upon those checks, or you're going to go to jail. They're going to prosecute you. Or they're saying, I know they're lazy and they just want free money. So you got people who say, well, I haven't paid my mortgage in 2 years. I had somebody email me, said they have not paid their mortgage in 2 years. And my question to them was, have you had any income flow? And they said, yes. They've gotten a stimulus. They're working a job. They worked the first 6 months that they were on unemployment, they were still working their job. But because somebody told you you can live rent-free, you've not paid your mortgage in 2 years. What do you think is going to happen when that moratorium ends? So I'm just letting y'all know that I'm a firm believer in what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and that we have to just get ready. So I'm telling y'all, get your cash ready, get your money ready, because people are going to be walking away from real estate. People are going to be walking away from these communities. We won't even have to ask for somebody to give us land and communities that we can call our own, because people are going to be walking away from them. Why? Because they've been trained and brainwashed and hypnotized. And if you don't know how to recognize hypnosis, that also puts you at a disadvantage. Because if you watch television and you see the hypnosis that is happening in television, I believe that because this world knows that those of us that are conscious members of the Nation of Islam will be moving into a phase where they believe that they can control us with the hypnosis that's out there. So they've introduced all this stuff. And so we're going to be sitting here thinking, let me just do what they told us to do. But really, I'm telling y'all, get prepared. Get you another stream of income. Get your cash together. Pool your resources, because you're going to be able to walk into these communities and get this real estate for almost nothing. It's going to be so much of it. The inventory of available real estate is going to be just so big. You will have some areas where you have certain real estate moguls that will buy it up and keep the prices high, but they won't be able to do that for everything. Anything that you want, anything that you desire, you'll be able to get. But right now is not the time to be laying up, getting a stimulus check, laying up going, oh, I'm just working on this one income stream. This is not the time to do that. Now is the time to be working on an extra 1 to 2, maybe even 3 income streams. And I always say you start off small. I would start off saying I've done everything from multi-level marketing to selling things. And I would say to myself, all right, this income stream is going to pay certain small bills, like maybe my utilities. And then this one is going to pay something else. And I would just earmark it. And once I got the business up to where it would perform as I had earmarked, then I can work and multiply and go from there. And so I'm saying to you, not only to save your life, but so that you can have. See, this is how we're going to walk into this money, good homes, friendships, and all walks of life. Because now that they've got everybody hypnotized and brainwashed into this method of conducting ourselves that is rooted in predatory capitalism, now we come in with our way of conducting ourselves, with our way of handling people, with our way of being supportive and loving when it comes to business and transactions, and spreading a civilized way of life that will serve as hope for our people. It will serve as a drink of water. Let me tell you something, because everybody's being hypnotized. And every factor of our lives is being impacted so that when the call is made, I can't snap my fingers, but when the call is made, you'll turn and go in that direction. So I want you all to think about that kind of stuff. Get your weight up. This is the time to do it. This is not the time to be laid back chilling. If you work a job during the day, then in the evenings, you should be spending time trying to figure out either how you multiply what you're already doing and scale it, or how to create additional income streams. I don't care what you can sell. Listen, I don't sell some coffee mugs, sell some dresses, berets, something. Learn how to drop ship. But don't think that you're too good. See, a lot of times what happens to a lot of us, we graduate from college. And I will tell you this about myself. And a lot of people say, well, Wendy, what is it about you? There's a lot of things that are different about me. But one thing that is really, really different about me is that I'm not afraid for you to see me hustling. I'm not afraid to be tired. I'll work past being tired. I'll work past being sleepy. I'll work past being hungry to get what I want and to go where I'm trying to go. And I'm not afraid to say, if you say, well, you went to school to be, a business developer or an accountant or a finance person, then aren't you embarrassed to be in this multi-level marketing thing? Hell no. Hell no, I'm not. I will get out here, whatever I got to do. Why? Because it's all business. So get yourself out of your comfort zone and get busy. I've had drop shipping accounts. I have done teaching and coaching and training. You name it. I've sold telephone services, utility services, Avon, CBD oils. I've hustled it. And I'm not afraid for you to see me hustling. If I got to get on here and say, hey, y'all, I'm selling coins for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's house, and I'm hustling these coins, I'm hustling these coins. Why? Because I'm not going to be in a position where somebody is controlling our story. So I don't care how many times a day I got to come out here and tell y'all, or if I got to stand out on the corner and go, hey, get your Elijah coin. Go to the Sajdah House website. Use the discount code HEM4847. I'm not afraid and I'm not embarrassed. See, closed mouths don't get fed. So get over yourself and get yourself out of your comfort zone. I was in a nail shop the other day, and I don't know if you all know, I wear these prosperity necklaces This one is actually my favorite one. And it has crystals on it that help to repel evil. But then it has an ancient coin. And I was learning something from a gentleman from China that I thought was really powerful. He said in the U.S. economy, we like new money, right? We like to press out our money. We like the crispy $100 bills and the brand new coins and anything that's crispy and shiny and new. We love that. And that has more value for us in this economy, in the U.S. economy, than it does in Asia. And he said that in China, if you have an ancient coin, they believe that it means that you will be fortunate or you have fortune, because the more people that touch the coin, they believe it gives the coin more value and more spiritual fortune. And so this particular necklace is made with an ancient coin. The concept I got from Tony Robbins. He sells these I guess you could call them prosperity necklaces. I think that's what it's called. And I switched out my coin for an ancient Chinese coin. The other one, I think his may be coins, but I don't know how real they are. But I switched mine out for an ancient Chinese coin that a lot of people have touched. And so the crystal here repels evil from my great fortune. And some people say, oh, well, I'd be embarrassed to wear something like that. What is wrong with us? We are so brainwashed. Look, get out there and get your hustle on. Get up early in the morning. Get up 4 or 5 in the morning. Stay late, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Stop listening to white people on TV telling you need to have this work-life balance. Listen, let me tell y'all something. We are at war. Do I need to get closer to the camera to say that to y'all? We are at war. And during war times, you can't be laid up sleeping. You can't be laid up relying upon one income source. You got to be ready. You got to be ready to stick and move. So train yourself. Train yourself. My brain is trained that if I got something to do, I'm doing it. I'm going to knock it out. I'm focused during the course of that day, and I'm getting busy. Get off that hamster wheel, okay? And let's go. All right, so we are going to. I got a good song for y'all today. It's gonna be a good one. But anyway, so this past week we had a Great Mind of an Entrepreneur IG show where I had Brother Damon Young Khan the Don. He's gonna help us with selling some of our Elijah coins. If you don't have yours, go out there, get yours, put in the discount code HEM 4847. We are at the home stretch. We got some hefty bills right now at this point. And when I say hefty, somebody said to me like, well, I heard somebody said, she should have sold enough coins by now. And I started laughing. I said, when you get monthly bills that are over $200,000, come on, people. That's a joke. This is real. This is real stuff. This is real millionaire and billionaire games at this point. We're talking about the home of the Lamb of God. I'm not talking about your fix and flip that you're doing down the street where you just need $50,000, $60,000 to fix and flip it and put a tenant in it. We're talking about hand restoration. We're talking about a very exquisite and detail-based renovation and restoration is what we're talking about. That's what this is. And we're not sparing any expense. Nothing is too good for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Elijah Muhammad House Museum. So that's what that is, just so that you know. So for those of you who are small-minded, it ain't a fix and flip. This is a renovation and restoration of a 12,500 square foot home with a 2,000 plus foot square feet coach house with a beautiful grounds that are around it. Yeah, this ain't a fix and flip. So just so that y'all be clear. Get out your comfort zone, okay? Don't be embarrassed. Stop being brainwashed. You're being hypnotized by the news media and people out there. Do some studying. You need to be able to recognize hypnosis when you see it. There's so much hypnosis out here. See, that's the technology they're going to try to use against us when our leader makes his transition. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. But I see the hypnosis and the technology. Don't fall for it. Start to train your mind and calibrate your mind to the truth. You should be able to hear the vibration of truth when somebody speaks to you. Calibrate yourself to that truth so that you're not tricked and you don't fall for this technology. Anyway, y'all, so that was that. Let's see, this week we're going to talk about Black and Global. We're going to talk about doing international business this week on the Mind of an Entrepreneur IG Live. We're still working on the television show. We're almost there. I'm thinking maybe we come back for the fall. But right now we're having fun on IG Live, and I think you guys like it as well. It still gives you an opportunity to touch and feel us. You can go click the link in the bio, go listen to past episodes of the Mind of an Entrepreneur show. There's a link in the bio. There's also, I posted some stuff on my Facebook page as well as on LinkedIn. And I posted a virtual book club that I did back in 2008 on the Master Key System. Because the idea is getting us to the point where we understand how to control our mindset. We have to be able to control our mindset so that we can move around the hypnosis that is being planted out there. And the hypnosis is what's going to be the technology that's going to be used against us, okay? When we're going through this challenging period that we're going to be going through as a people. So the hypnosis, the technology, the way you overcome that hypnosis, let me tell you something. The way to break a hypnotic pattern is through the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. If your mind has been calibrated to the vibration of this man and his teachings and the teachings of this man through his greatest helper, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you can break any hypnosis that is impacting you. And trust me, we got hypnosis weaving all up and through us. But you got to know how to calibrate your mind and your central nervous system to the truth. All right. So go back and listen to this. We talked about economic indicators for those of you who are just coming in. I'm sorry the chat was flowing so fast today. I couldn't keep up today. But anyway, Wednesday, we're going to be talking with Sister Melissa Muhammad about being Black and going global. Y'all always hear me talk about I'm a Black woman here in America, but I'm a global citizen. There's not a country that I'm not a citizen of that you can't plot me into and I can figure out how to make it. Why? Because I come from a nomadic people. I got ancestral roots all around the world, and so do you. We're global. So we're going to talk about Black and global. A lot of us talk about wanting to do business, whether it's in Africa or the Philippines, but we don't know how to do it. And our sister has a service that will help you be Black and global. So we're going to talk to her this week, and we'll do some interesting other lives and come to you. I got some other stuff to announce, but I think I forgot them. We got the Mojo Museum Porch Series starting this week. Y'all going to get your Elijah coins. Anyway, we'll be back soon. But I want to, as I leave out, I want to play this song for you all. Somebody said, what time on Wednesday, Queen? Is noon Eastern time. Okay. And I apologize for not being able to keep up with the chat today. All right. Some of y'all know this song and you've heard it.
Connected.
All right, peace and blessings, everyone. You're welcome. I hope you got something out of what we talked about today. Recalibrate your central nervous system, people. That's right, Sister Aletha. It's wake up. Oh, Sister Wakiti says she received her 2 Elijah coins. All praises due to Allah. Those coins are collector's items, sis. They are made of the copper from the home of the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So all praises due to Allah. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you. I cannot wait to show you what we put together. And we're talking about finishes now, and I just cannot wait for you all to see it. So we're gonna be going antique shopping soon. So thank you. Sister Lisa, thank you so much for yesterday. You're thanking me, but I absolutely love them. Those are my babies. And you, thank you for, let me tell y'all a little trivia. My first paid speaking engagement, guess who got it for me? Sister Lisa. And she's still booking me to this day. So thank you, sister. I love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. I appreciate how hard you go for your sister and for your family. I love you. Thank you, everyone. 19 Rush 95. Did y'all know affirmations is a form of hypnosis? Affirmations are deadly. Prayer and affirmations are not the same. Okay. Love you more, sis. Thank you, Sister Wakiti, for your support. I really appreciate it. Some of you all are just joining, but thank you and welcome to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talk. Join us Wednesday at noon Eastern Time for the conversation with Sister Melissa on being Black and global. Okay? All praises due to Allah. I'm just so grateful that Allah has trusted me with something that is near and dear to Him. Y'all just don't know. I wake up, I don't even sleep the whole night. I wake up in the middle of the night and I got to get up and get on the floor and say thank you. So thank you. Thank you to all of you. Thank you for your support. We got to wake up, y'all. Wake up, recalibrate your nervous system to truth so that you recognize truth when you hear it. You should recognize the vibration of truth when it comes out of a person's mouth. So that this technology that is being paid for and bought, and they're spending millions of dollars to impact your mind with this technology that is out here today, you should be able to move around it. So let's make sure that we're staying prayerful. Make sure you have an interactive conversation with Allah, with God, with Jehovah, whatever you call Him. Be interactive. Peace and blessings, y'all. Thank you all for listening today. Let's wake up and see y'all Wednesday, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings.